Prep Test 71, game number 3, question 15, asks us, if 5 and 6, or the 5th and 6th books, are not summarized, which of the following could be true? So we bring up our limited options, and right off the bat, we're going to say that books 5 and 6 are not summarized. Well, we have already seen situations where R is not summarized, and as a reminder, that factors into this rule up here. The contrapositive of this rule tells us that if R is not summarized, or if T is not summarized, then N must be summarized. So we've already triggered that rule in both of our limited options here, in option 1 and in option 2. So let's take a look at option 1. We know that book N will have to be summarized in this scenario. So let's go ahead and place book N in here somewhere and label it with a Y. And then if we wanted to, we could finish out the rest of this, but we don't actually have any requirements for the rest of the books in here. T and F could go in any order, and anybody else could be theoretically summarized, although we can't put a summarized book right next to N. And in option 2, we have the exact same scenario. In this case, why don't we just try putting N right in the middle here and saying that it is summarized, and that way we know that this is not summarized and this is not summarized, and we're not sure about O. So it says which could be true. K is summarized. Well, right off the bat, we know for a fact that K is not summarized in either option, so that's out. O is summarized. Well, we actually haven't labeled O in either of our options yet, so this one's looking pretty promising. Let's put a check mark here and move on to the next one. R is summarized. We know for a fact that R is not summarized in either one. F and T are summarized. Well, if N has to be summarized, and the first 3 spaces go to N, F, and T, then there's no way that we could have N summarized and F and T summarized, because that would definitely break our first rule here that you can't have 2 summarized books in a row. Therefore, there's no way that F and T could both be summarized. And last, N is not summarized. And remember, we triggered this rule, this contrapositive right here, that forced us to say that N is summarized. Therefore, it cannot be true that N is not summarized. And thus, B is in fact the correct answer.